Morning, Krister.
Morning. How you
Yeah,
going?
yeah, good, good. How about you?
Very good, thank you.
That's good. That's good. All right. So our first vlog together. So let's dive straight in, and so much to talk about. So the first question I'd like to ask you, and I've obviously got some thoughts on again, are what are your thoughts on the importance of building design on learning behaviour?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think that spaces should be adaptive, and I always like to think way back in time before there even was a building, and thinking about the impact that that must have had on the child's development, and maybe even thinking into how tribes moved every season and how stimulating that must have been for the kids and how they were learning from nature. And I hear parents say sometimes, what I value most is how the kids can learn from nature at a preschool and so when we and I started to realize that was an important issue because every at least every season in preschools they were moving the furniture around to stimulate the development of the children. And some of the most effective museum exhibits I've seen are the ones that, in terms of achieving learning goals and learning behaviors, is the ones that actually adapt in real time.
That's great. And yeah, look at my experience as a school principal, certainly those teachers who were the most flexible in how they use their space, and the shifting of that was really important. One of the conversations we've had is this is much more than our thoughts together, and emergence of our thoughts together are much more than just flexible learning spaces. Whilst helpful and useful, as you say, there's a whole another space there, deliberately using that word to go to. And you introduced me to the word reworldling. So what does reworldling mean to you?
Reworlding to me, in the most basic, I suppose, the definition is being able to have a fundamental shift in the way you see the world. And but then there's a really nice chain reaction that happens afterwards, is that you start to want to create a new world. And you see this in entrepreneurs. They want to do things in a sustainable or ethical way, and they have an ambition in each of their projects, and so they start to apply their strengths. But the hard part for most people is actually being able to, I suppose, unworld themselves, as we are reference to in an article, and this is not a new concept, but the idea that you have so much work to do to unthink everything. And what about if you were to just create a new generation of morally brave change makers and creative thinkers?
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed and appreciated that the challenge of the worlding. Just as you say, to stop and think. I've certainly got a belief and passion that education is in a ripe space to need to reworld. And as you say, the hardest bit in many times for people is I don't talk about that unlearning. How do we get rid of some of the stuff we've sort of accumulated over the time to help us think so differently? And it's such a conservative space generally in thinking, so slightly different approaches. So I came across the words, well, knew the words, but the definitions of digitizing and digitalizing. Where digitizing is just we're bringing technology but keep doing the same things, where digitalizing is actually trying to really change what you do. And I see that as a similar sort of concept around reworlding. What are your thoughts on? Because it's absolutely not just about technology, but how we might use technology to help us reworld.
Yeah, I think there's certainly an aspect of digitalizing is I mean, I see it as augmenting the classroom. It's really respecting that. I mean, the way I see the teachers, first of all, is a foundation to the answer to your question, is that they were designers long before there were designers, that they understood their audience. They're the perfect partner to create a classroom that is adaptive, because they're always thinking about their needs, all the different learning behaviors that are happening of their classroom. and trying to adapt it to suit as well as designing the educational programs. So respecting that, I think, is important for digitalizing, and that you then think about it from the point of view of really having a deep understanding of the educator in order to support them. And so if they wanted to use traditional methods or materials, then they could do that, but they could perhaps also, and all educators have burning needs as well, you know, like that they want to expose their children or students to a much wider range of contexts than they could from within the classroom, and even from what they could with going on an excursion or an incursion. So I would often hear from parts of Australia where the socioeconomic or the poverty line is a little, you know, they're in that zone, and they're saying that the kids, they often just see the shopping centre and preschool, and there's not much more that they get to see besides home. So being able to see what the other side of the world is like, or to be explorers of their neighborhood, and to discover all the different kinds of species that they didn't know about right on their doorstep. I mean, this is a really that's the kind of profound shift that we're talking about, that digitalizing can do, I think.
That's great. And also the final question we thought we'd talk about was the role of the teacher. You know, obviously the very traditional sense of role of a teacher is they have the knowledge and they share the knowledge with the students, the children in front of them. But I think good teachers have always done much more than just that. They've done that as appropriately, but also drawn out and seen different opportunities to educate and for children and students to learn. How might this reimagining the use of spaces change the role of teachers, do you think?
I think that they're going to be able to leverage their skills, or their strengths, I should say, a lot more. And it may be that there will be less admin involved, that some things are automated more. It may be that there's then, for example, there could even be the case, if there was an AI involved, that there is some higher level of security, or and it could also be that they're able to facilitate a much wider range of settings. So an unlimited range of settings, for example. If you were able to reimagine the classroom every single time, you know, you see a whale 1-to-1 in scale, and one day, and then or the next moment you're able to be in a bazaar in Dubai, and maybe role playing a setting of trading, and to really live the history from once upon a time.
Yeah, as you say, I think it opens up, and you know, you used the phrase or the word augment, and I've got a great belief that technology is a way of really increasing the capacity of what we do and opportunities as part of this. Thanks for your time, Krister. As I say, it's our first vlog, and lots more to explore in future vlogs. So have a great day.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.